We're at the Audits and Governmental Efficiency Committee for the City of Los Angeles. I'm joined by Council Member Gruhl and Zine. There are 4 items on the agenda today. The first addresses DWP's low-income discount program and the department's efforts to increase participation in it. The second is a Simpson & Simpson report relative to the city's single audit report for fiscal year 06-07, which found numerous issues that need to be addressed by city departments, and I think and I believe many of the city departments are here today. I'd like to start with items 3 and 4, which are Simpson & Simpson reports from...
You guys were anxious. Yeah, anticipating.
I'd like to start with items 3 and 4, which are Simpson & Simpson reports from 06-07 fiscal year that the CLA is recommending that we note and file. If there's no public comment on these items, and I don't think there are, we will note and file items number 3 and 4. If that's okay with my colleague?
Unless Randy wants to take them special and spend time on it.
No.
She's like, no, not really. Okay, yeah.
All right, so 3 and 4, no, 5. Do you need to read them into the record?
I have.
Okay.
Thanks. Item number 3 is controller report relative to the fiscal year 06-07 report on operating controls and effectiveness related to the Information Technology Agency. And item number 4 is controller report relative to fiscal year 06-07 report on the application of agreed upon procedures related to Article 23B appropriation limit calculation.
Thank you very much. And item number 1, if you could call that item, please.
Item number 1 is the Department of Water and Power report in response to the motion of Council Members Weezer and Alarcon relative to the low-income discount program.
Thank you very much. And this is an item that I am passionate about. Back in March, when we voted to increase a rate increase for water and power services, I asked the DWP to report to Council on what resources it was investing in providing outreach for the low-income discount program, which at the time, before we adopted the rate increase, was 15%. Through that discussion, the DWP agreed and moved that up to 20%, which is similar to other large energy providers in the state. And subsequent to that, I introduced a motion to have the DWP discuss with us at this committee how are we doing in terms of enrolling additional residents into this program, because while it is good news that we now have moved the discount rate from 15 to 20%, there are still too few people participating in the program or taking advantage of the discount. I think some of the numbers I've read says that in 1988 we had about 200,000 people enrolled, and today we have 87,500. And so it seems like we have some work to do in order for us to get more people enrolled. So with that, I'd like to hear from the DWP on this report, and then I'm sure our colleagues will have some questions. Sure. Welcome.
Good morning, or afternoon, I'm sorry. Good afternoon, council members. Joe Romalo for the Department of Water and Power, Director of Public Affairs. We were very pleased to partner with you, Council Member Weezer, and the full council with the prior action of expanding the low-income program. As a part of that, as you know, you'd asked for us to look at a full-blown, outreach campaign and program. And we've worked together with customer services, John Chen, our director here today, to put together that plan. And we've already begun that work. John can talk about some of the more specific initiatives that we're undertaking with other departments, with other utilities, where our numbers stand today versus the past. And what I'd like to do, if you're okay, is give you a brief overview of the outreach plan and the work that's underway. Because we're really doing 2 things at the same time. We're acknowledging and understanding that we don't know exactly how many customers are eligible, and that we're committed to finding that out. And on the other hand, we're not waiting for that result to actually begin the outreach, and we've done so. So what I'd like to do, if you'd like, is you and Councilmember Gruhl can take a look at some of the materials that we've already produced. We began last month and worked with your office on an announcement of that to begin advertising on Metrobus. We have over 2,000 advertisements, 3,000 advertisements now on Metrobus in both Spanish and English, promoting 2 elements. One, the low-income program, urging people to contact us to find out if they're eligible. And two, a program that's benefited a great number of low-income customers, and that is the low-income refrigerator exchange program. That program has received it's already award-winning in California. We've done about 35,000 refrigerators for low-income individuals.
Say hi to them.
The program saves us money, and it saves our customers money. And so we have these ads on our buses. We've already experienced a 5-fold increase in the number of calls that we've been getting about the low-income refrigerator program.
How long have you had them up?
We've had them up for only about a month and a half. And this was at a cost of about $64,000 with Metro. We have since secured from the vendor, from the CBS Outdoor that's a part of that arrangement with Metro, an extension of the campaign beyond 3 months to a full 6 months. So they'll remain on buses through December. And we are very pleased with that one initiative alone, resulting in a tremendous number of additional interested individuals for both the low-income eligibility to determine their eligibility for the program, but also to participate in the refrigerator exchange program. In just 15 months, we've done 35,000 free refrigerators for our low-income eligible customers.
And did you use sorry, just jumping because you're talking about buses. Did you look at talk to DOT about our dash?
Okay. We are, and we do plan on pursuing that as well, because now we already have the creative done.
Right.
So
because they have
definitely.
both outside and inside options.
Definitely. One of the reasons we were able to secure the extension with Metro was because we're looking at doing more advertising on buses, and we'll be doing the same with DOT. So that's just one component, was the Metro bus advertising. We've also done some earned media. There's an article in La Opinión. There was a mention on one or two KNBC stories over the last few months on this issue. We're looking for every opportunity when we talk about rates, when we talk about summer heat, to also talk about the ability to save money by conserving. We like to balance that message, too, as you know, Councilmember Gruhl, with seniors in letting them know we'll work with you on your bill. Don't worry about running that air conditioner. And at the same time, there's opportunities here to save money by enrolling in the program. My in-laws actually have been eligible for 13 years and only signed up in the last 3 months because they got on the application. They had no idea they were eligible. They live in Northridge and just hadn't thought about it. So
the Department of Aging is working with you all, too, because, I mean, they have every single day. And we did that event out in my district on the heat and calling your senior thing. But
we do plan on getting information out through Aging. We now have signage at every one of our customer service centers in both English and Spanish. We've done paid advertising in multi-languages, including Chinese, which you'll see an example of there. We have really stepped up considerably these efforts. We've redesigned the application. We've made it so that people can call just a customer service line and immediately get information sent out to them. And John can talk a little bit more. Actually, I should tell you, even last Friday, our CEO went to Southeast Neighborhood Council group. It was at an apartment building where we went and spoke to about 50 to 60 seniors there about not only about energy efficiency and water conservation, but specifically brought them applications for this. We participate in free fairs and festivals around the city almost every weekend of the year, it seems, and we take applications and have them at that table. That's something that we did not always have at those tables. So we're looking for every possible venue to push the program, and we've seen some positive results just in the last 4 to 6 months.
And good afternoon, council members. My name is John Chen. I'm the Executive Director of the Customer Service Division at Department of Water and Power. Just want to give you an update on the number of participants on the low-income program. As of July 2008, we have 92,728 customers on that program. So that is a 7,000 increase from the January 2008 number. In addition to that, for the Lifeline customer, which also has a requirement for low income. We currently have 89,345 customers on that particular rate. So the combined is a little over 180,000 customers that's receiving some type of benefit from Department of Water and Power. Joe had just mentioned of our extensive marketing and outreach effort that's undertaken, but I just want to touch upon 3 key elements that will significantly probably add additional participants for this program. Number 1, Housing Authority owns housing unit for low-income tenants, and in addition, they also provide vouchers to subsidize low-income renters. And we are in the process of finalizing agreement in which they will share their database of customers with us. they provide the funding under the guidelines of HUD, so it requires annual certification. So it's really great. So we don't really need to do anything. So as soon as we get the database, we'll cross-match our own database. Anybody who's not on it, we're not even going to wait. We're just going to put everybody's on it from that database. And we will tell them through a letter basically saying you can opt out if you, for whatever the reason. I mean, I don't see anybody wanting to do that. But as a courtesy, we'll send a letter to everybody, say, hey, now you are on the low-income rates, and if you want to opt out, please contact us. If not, you're on. That's it. You're going to receive that. And that's going to be quite significant because I believe they have a total of 50,000 clients under the Housing Authority's subsidized program. So I think, even a good percentage of 20, 30, 50%, if they haven't got the information, then that will significantly boost our number of participants. That's number one. Number two, we are seeking approval. I think it's the part of the rate package where we wanted to offer not only the rate to the individual customer that is a Department of Water and Power customer, but also offer to housing projects, for example, that service 100% low income, like the halfway house or people, for homeless, for other things, non-profit organizations. But however, they are master meter. So the property management company, they pay actually electricity for the entire unit, but all the people that's living there, they're not really receiving those benefits from us. And we generate a list from the Los Angeles Housing Department. It's quite a large number of those housing units out there. So if we can get our existing rate modified, again, the number is substantial. In right away, we can add thousands of new participants who will be benefit from this program. And the number three initiative we are having is we met with the gas company, Sempra, and had a very good discussion with them. We wanted to enter an MOU with them to, again, share their database of customer that's receiving the benefits within the city of Los Angeles. And if we can, they're also very interested in getting information from us, so there's a really mutual benefit to partner with each other. And if we can get the numbers from them, I think that will drastically also increase at least our targeted customers, which we can follow up. And they even suggested they have a program where they do door-to-door. They hire a third party. If you sign up, we'll give you $15 for each sign up. But if we can get a targeted list from them, let's say it's 25,000 or 50,000 beyond our current list, then it's manageable. It's a lot better than 1.2 million customers we try to target. Now it's only 50,000, and we can hire people to do door-to-door, or we can have a more focused effort in target marketing to those people. Those three initiatives alone will significantly add to the number of participants in conjunction with our intensive ad campaign. I think that will really make a difference.
So to summarize the three initiatives, one is working with the Housing Authority, the other is working with Sempra, and the other
is to change our rate structure to allow benefits to be provided to master metered accounts.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for that presentation. And I think working with the Housing Authority, where we already have residents who we have information from that will most likely qualify, I'm wondering if there's other places like that and perhaps programs that we know are for low-income people that we could probably also do the same, say, you're part of the low-income discount program now unless you opt out. I mean, are there others we could do that with?
Yeah, Department of Aging, we mentioned before, and that's another department that we will be participating with them. And the state of California also has a program that subsidizes or pay bills for customer that is low income. It's a what we call LIHEAP program, and it's administered by 4 nonprofit entities throughout the city of Los Angeles. They provide approximately $20 million of subsidies to basically low income customers. We can also partner with them. So this way, this is really leveraging. Doesn't cost us much money, but the magnitude of new applicants that can be received through this type of partnership and leveraging each other's resources is tremendous.
When do you intend to complete the MOU with the Housing Authority and with the gas company?
The MOU with the Housing Authority, I have been working very closely with Mr. Rudy Montel and his staff. It's just a matter of having the city attorney. We already have the MOU ready, just to have a sign this week. I wanted to get a sign really this week. So we're
About a month, more or less?
yeah, a month or so. The other thing with the gas company, in the past, our city attorney's office has some concerns about exchange proprietary information. I want to go down there personally, and hopefully I can convince them that this is a good thing to do, and we should be doing that.
Okay, thank you.
I think, are you going to also work with the housing department? Because the housing department funds a number of multifamily,
Yes.
units, and they sometimes have, not all of them maybe have the water, but the power side that they're charged. I don't know if all multifamily have their own separate ones or different, but that would be another source of where we have funded programs that are for low income, nonprofits and so forth, to be able to work with them.
Yes, definitely. That's the master meter. So we already,
Master meter.
yeah, I have already identified with the Mercedes more than 140 housing projects, large ones,
Yeah.
that qualify for the master meter. So already got that list. I have the address, and so the minute we can pass through a rate, boom, we have thousands of additional participants for that.
And how much is budgeted for the outreach plan, for the advertisements and all the other outreach we do? Because some of these things are cost neutral. We don't. I mean, it doesn't cost anything to do. But
The combined between some of what John is doing, which actually really don't have too much cost, is over $500,000.
$500,000. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had gotten a figure of $100,000, and we put that in our motion. So, but it's really $500,000.
When we went back and put together a plan and then costed it out, we feel that's the minimum is going to be 500, because the bus ads alone, now we just managed to get 3 months for free, so that won't even be a part of that 500.
So you were spending $100,000. Now with your new outreach plan, you're going to be spending $500,000. That's the new. And so when do you anticipate that these promotional efforts will be out in public?
Many of them are. These
Many
are
of them
at
are
customer
already.
service centers. We've done connections in our bill insert already. These ads you saw are actually ads that have been placed. The bus ads are already up. It'll be an ongoing effort, but we definitely have jump-started already.
And this is coming out of the, what's the name of the fund? The Public Benefit Fund?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what else do you use the Public Benefit Fund, and how much money is there in there?
I think the amount is somewhere around $60 to $70 million, but a lot of it is to pay for the low-income subsidized program, to pay for the energy efficiency programs, and those are the bulk of the charges.
So, and the purpose of the fund is to do what?
I think it's required by the state to each utility to set aside, I believe it's a 2.3 or 2.8% of a revenue to basically provide public benefits programs to customers.
Okay. And we've used it in a variety of ways, whether it's refrigerators, the low-efficiency light bulbs, and now for the money that, do we subsidize then the low-income clients with the funds in this fund?
Yes.
Yes. So we're increasing the number of participants. We're going to be paying out more to these participants through that fund, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. And finally, there's some information here that we signed up 4,000 customers in the last 6 months, 7,000 over last year. If we want to get up to, let's say, back where we were a few years ago, of 200,000 customers, what will it? I mean, how long would it take us to get there?
Well, right now, actually,
4 years.
right now the combined numbers between the low income and also the lifeline, which is a low income requirement, is approximately 181,000.
I see.
That's currently 181,000. That's the number, but we definitely can do a better job, as you have indicated, to increase that number significantly.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Zine?
The program affects a certain segment of the community. There's a program you have on the washing machines where there's a rebate, $250. Why can't we expand this to offer a rebate for folks that aren't in that low-income bracket but have refrigerators that aren't energy efficient, to offer them some kind of a rebate, maybe not $250, but an incentive to get rid of some of those old refrigerators if we're talking about saving electricity. Why don't we expand that out, if we can expand that out, as an incentive? Because we're talking a free refrigerator, and I saw some at Costco a couple days ago for like $300 for a regular-sized refrigerator, which I thought was a great price. I don't know if it's energy efficient or not, but when they have that little star, energy efficiency, have we ever explored that, if we're talking about trying to save power and expand this out to have other folks get the rebate, see if that'll work, since the washer and dryer program with Southern California Gas Water Power seems to be an incentive for people?
For non-low-income customers, what we have right now isn't the same thing, and it isn't what you're asking for, but we will take that back and ask.
Would you have anything?
We do. We have a refrigerator exchange program where if you give in your old energy inefficient refrigerator, I believe you get $50 back. It's a rebate. You get free, and we'll come and pick it up for free.
Okay.
But
so there is a program.
Yeah, but but could we offer something for seniors or others that may not be on fixed income, but you could do a free refrigerator or something more? That's something we could look into.
Because I know when you go buy a washer or dryer, the ones that have the rebates are the ones that are energy efficient.
And
it's not energy efficient.
And everyone is eligible for the washing machine. That saves water and energy.
Exactly. So I'm looking at the rebate on that from gas company and water and power, which is a significant rebate.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to offer that same kind of rebate for refrigerator, but a lot of people have old refrigerators, and if there was an incentive, they may say, let's trade this in to get something more efficient. Everyone's going out buying hybrid cars now because they want to stretch that mileage out. I'm just thinking that if we want to save the energy, expand that base. I can understand the low income, and I support that, but there's a whole other group of people out there who aren't in that financial capacity, but they might take advantage of it if we expand it. And I didn't know about this $50 if the old refrigerator exchange. We haven't done a whole lot of promotion on that either.
No, what we'll do is take back your request, though, about whether we could expand this to everyone.
In a reasonable level.
Way, right. And to our energy efficiency team and ask them to consider that.
And these refrigerators, I assume, are energy efficient, the ones that are given the free
yeah.
free version?
Oh, yes.
It saves us a tremendous amount of fuel costs. That's why it's so cost efficient, is we don't have to generate the energy to power the old energy guzzling refrigerators. And in many homes, the refrigerator's using, we're told by our energy efficiency experts, about half of the energy in the home because it's on all the time.
And then, is there some kind of a marking on that refrigerator to know it's energy efficient? Because on the washers, they have the marking.
The ones that we're giving out should be Energy Star. If they're not, they're definitely the most energy efficient ones.
But if someone goes out to a store to purchase an energy efficient refrigerator, is there a marking they have on that like they have on the washer?
It would be Energy Star. That's what you're looking for. Is the Energy Star label.
That would be on the refrigerators too.
Yes.
I know they're more expensive, but on the long run, you're going to save money.
They're on air conditioners. They're on refrigerators. All sorts of products that are Energy Star qualified.
Okay. So anyway, the more incentives I think we can offer, the more people turn those old refrigerators in and save electricity for everyone. Okay. Good idea.
Ms. Gruhl?
No, I think this kind of information that you're providing to us is helpful to our other colleagues, and literally having a cheat sheet, which I believe you probably have, but refreshing our memory, which has here are all the programs that DWP does offer so that we can utilize that and distribute it. For example, we have a big health fair that we do, Children's Health and Safety Fair. We have a couple thousand people in October. That's a great opportunity to hand out not only these, but potentially just enough of here's the information. You could get all these things. I don't know if you have that cheat sheet or not, but I think it would be helpful for...
We have many outdated publications at the department. Part of what my shop's responsibility is, and you'll see that as one example, is we're trying to we're doing uniform templates. Water stuff's going to be blue and energy's going to be yellow, orange, and we're redoing all of our publications, so you will start to see more and more useful pamphlets and and brochures and such, like what you're asking for.
But even for, again, something that it may not have to be a very fancy thing
just
yet.
A listing of
The things, so that when we get a constituent that calls in, or we go to an event, we can say, here are all the potential services that will provide you with everything from the fluorescent light bulbs to the fans. We were out and handed out, a number of fans out in the San Fernando Valley, to the rebates and the other things. I think that would be really, really useful.
Okay.
Kind of one kind of document that catches it all in there.
Okay.
And one thing, when you look at this accessibility in Spanish, you have senior citizens pictured. You may want to have the picture fit the language.
We were.
If you look at that, they look like senior citizens.
They're gonna get better. This was, I'll be honest, this was free and quick because we were trying to get them on the bus ads quickly. But your point is well taken.
I mean, it's great for senior citizens.
Well, actually, we didn't want to offend anybody because they're not Hispanic either. These folks aren't. They're actually.
Look at
They look it, but I didn't want to take a chance on somebody saying, "Hey, they're not Hispanic."
But these are definitely senior citizens.
I thought the woman could be Hispanic.
Non-Spanish
I understand your point, absolutely.
Anyway, because someone looks at it and they say,
I know.
Who made these? Did
It's our shop, but
Your shop
the
there?
models were free. They're actually family
why don't you
members.
show it
'cause
to
we
the
were-
audience so they can't see it?
So they can give you a hard time, too?
So that's in Spanish. That's in Spanish, right?
That's the Spanish one. But I thought that the woman.
They
could be
speak
Hispanic.
Spanish, right?
That could look like my grandmother.
You never know. You never know.
And
You
then-
don't look Spanish either.
Could be Peruvian.
Yeah, yeah.
Jose, you're
They're not Hispanic. They're Asian.
Okay.
But anyway, I think because we're very visual and it attracts when you see the picture and the language and, you know.
But you can also have this at your council offices and the district offices, so people can.
But we'll do the photos again. for you.
Yeah, because somebody would definitely make comments in our offices when they walk in.
However,
Yeah,
we have seen a
right.
five-fold increase in the calls as a result of the ads.
Okay.
Got it looking like.
Well, thank you very much, and this is good information for us to have. However, I still have some information I believe will be helpful to us that I would like to ask that we have our report back in 45 days on 4 items in this committee. One is, we talked about the 3 initiatives that we are doing along with the outreach plan on how to attract more customers to participate in the low-income discount programs. However, it'd be great to see targeted numbers. Like, for example, you said how many you expect to get out of the Housing Authority. You could probably also estimate how many you expect to get out of the gas company partnership that we get, so that we see a year from now, okay, based upon these new initiatives that you have, this is a targeted number of new enrollees. And I think it'll at least make me feel comfortable, and make the committee feel comfortable that that's our target, that's where we're going, and not have this kind of nebulous, we have this initiative, and we need to see it more concrete to say these are the initiatives, and this is where we expect to be a year from now, 2 years from now. I think that would be very helpful if you could kind of condense that information like that for us. And related to that is the penetration levels. I did some of my own homework during the discussion on the rate increases as to how we, as a city, as a DWP, compared to other agencies. And if you could work with the CLA on the penetration rate or a percentage of participants enrolled in the low-income discount programs, and how do we compare it to other energy providers in the state. The third item is a report back on how we're doing on the MOUs with the Housing Authority and the gas company. And finally, the Public Benefit Fund. If we could have a budget, what's the income and what's the expenditures on that budget? That'd be very helpful for us to see.
And that's set by state law,
Yes,
the benefit fund?
yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation today.
So, Mr. Chair, we will continue item number 1.
For about 45 days, and we'll get a report back. And if the CLA could work with the DWP on those items, please. Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, I did tell him to change that picture, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
Rat out your coworkers.
Let him speak first, then she's go.
Thank you very much. At the beginning of each year, the controller contracts with Simpson & Simpson to perform an outside analysis of our previous fiscal year's budget. This year's report raised several issues that require attention and further response from some of the departments. And we have, first we normally go with the controller, but I understand we have one of our general managers who needs to be leaving soon. So if you could, you want to present first after our clerk reads the item, and we'll hear from our IT department. Thank you.
Item number 2 is Controller's Independent Auditor's Report relative to the city's single audit reports for fiscal year 2006-2007.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Randy Levin, General Manager and Chief Technology Officer for the city. The report from Simpson & Simpson highlighted some internal control weaknesses in the SMS system, which is our city procurement system. We have collectively been working on these, and the collective team is ITA, GSD, the Controller's Office, and then our contractor Metaformers. The 7 items that Simpson & Simpson identified really can be, the remediation of those items can be boiled down to a couple of things that we're doing moving forward. One is we're doing the upgrade that many of you are aware of, which is taking out customizations in the system. At the same time, what we're doing is we're putting together more rigid and stringent operational procedures for the system so that it will really mandate when reconciliations need to occur, whether they be weekly, monthly, or yearly. Both of those things will result in the system to be more, to have a higher level of integrity, and we shouldn't experience a number of the issues that we have been experiencing. The last point that was brought up was about SQL updates not being properly reviewed, and we have put a quality control process into place in order to mitigate any issues as a result of that. So I would say that these findings, we do have issues with some of these. We are addressing these, and going forward, these should be mitigated and would not result anymore in a material weakness when they come back again next year.
Thank you very much. Any questions from my colleagues?
I just have a question. I mean, the FMIS system won't be completed, as you described to us the other day, for a few years. So you believe the changes you can make in the system, and that will be rectified before we go to the FMIS system?
Yes, the reconciliation procedures that are going to be put in place here are going to be enforced, and it's not just going to be a combination of all of the entities that I mentioned, who, by the way, are all working very well together cooperatively, but also is going to involve the user departments as well, because up till now we haven't really enforced you need to do this at month end, et cetera. And it's sort of that old analogy, like if you keep throwing everything in your garage and you don't clean it up, eventually you have a big cleanup project to do. But if you clean up your garage every week, then you don't have that activity to do. So what we want to do is make sure that all the user departments are following a process by which they clean up their house.
Well, and my staff is smiling over there because he's laughing because I am the one that put everything in my garage and need to clean it out. So,
I'm sorry about that.
Right. He was trying hard not to laugh behind you because he knew that reflected but not on other things. But on this, I guess going back to that is how do we enforce it with the various departments? Because I think my concern on a number of levels when you look at even going to the FMIS system and others, and some of the things the chair has brought forward with departments who haven't responded, is kind of calling them out on the carpet to say, how come, X departments are able to get their things in on time and you're not, because we don't know as elected officials necessarily those departments that are not following the rules appropriately and a way in which to kind of shine a light.
Well, there are systematic things that we can do, and then there are procedural things that we can do. I think what we're trying to evaluate is, what is the extent of the systematic things that we can do, and what kind of change would that impose? But at a minimum, reconciliations can be performed, and we can actually report whether they've been done or not. So we can do that regardless of whether we put in some of these other systematic controls.
I would be interested as you go forward and with the Controller's Office and others to look at and the group that you've put together and the outside consultant on the reconciliation, look at, are there things that we can do and that the department can do, a Controller's Office, that highlights that to light a fire under those departments and what you would be recommending. Because I know in the finding on 07-1, it does say that you all have been getting together since June 2007, but the problems are yet to be resolved on that level. So,
Great, thank you. Anything else to add on this?
No.
I think what we're going to recommend after we hear from the Controller Simpson & Simpson is to get a report back in 60 days on the status of the implementation and see where we are at that time. So, would that be okay with you?
We won't be done with the upgrade then. You might want to wait till, we should be done with the upgrade at basically the end of October. That would be if you want an update before then, certainly that's fine. I'm just saying, from a timing perspective, that's where we will be
Okay.
with the upgrades, so.
Well, we'll just continue the item, and we'll be in touch with your office and see what's the best time to reschedule this in the agenda.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Controller's Office, Simpson and Simpson, anything to add on this item? We've laid out some of the issues.
My name is Brainerd Simpson. I'm the managing partner of Simpson and Simpson. Regarding item number 1 on the in our a report that was just spoken on, because the fact that we're only presenting that to you at this time, it would be, these findings probably will be repeated this year in our audit again, because they're still working on it, and you probably would still have a material weakness for the 2007-8 audit.
Yeah.
Because unless there are some significant improvements, we won't know that until actually we do the audit as it relates to that.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else?
No, I'm Louis Benjamin from the Controller's Office, and unless you want an overview of all the rest of the findings.
Yeah, it's okay. We've got these laid out, and we're gonna be back here again to hear this item at some time in the future. So we'll get to those items at that time, if that's okay with my colleagues.
Yeah, and
unless there's any review.
No, I just think there are some things related to the pass-through and some of the grant management items that I think you've highlighted that may also be consistent with the controller's audit that she's doing on grant funding and how we're dealing with that. So I think one of the ideas, and I don't know if this is the controller does it in a way that, because the audit points out kind of the deficiencies, but even so, the almost an action item report in a checkoff box that says, have they actually accomplished those things that we're interested in, or what needs legislative, or what needs enforcement,
yes,
or what is just an overall failure of the system as a whole, or the department. So, I mean, it highlights, I think, some not horrible deficiencies. It's not as though the sky is falling, but there are some improvements that can be made, and to ensure that there's appropriate follow-through by the various departments and the body, the city council.
Yes.
Do you have a public comment card on this one?
Yes, no, this is a general public comment.
Okay.
Great, thank you very much. So we will continue this item, and we will work with the interested parties to reschedule this item in committee. Thank you very much. And I believe that completes all our items. We have one public comment card. Mel Cone is here. Welcome from VICA.
Sorry, I thought he was commenting on one. I didn't know why he was whatever that was.
Good afternoon to all of you. Chairman Weezer, Councilman Rule and Zine. I am appearing today on behalf of the Valley Industry and Commerce Association, VICA. I am chair of VICA's Audit Subcommittee, which was formed to follow up on the controller's reports after the headlines are done to see what actions have been taken. The purpose of being here today is really to follow up on the collection situation for the city. We had remedies which we discussed on March 19th when we appeared before this committee regarding the budget, because we felt there were dollars left on the table and the city should take certain action, follow up and collect these. And I just really want to go through a very brief timeline. June 11th, 2007, Controller Chick issued her report on audit of citywide building and collections. Fall of 2007, VICA formed its ad hoc subcommittee to follow up on the controller's audits, not just this report. March 19th, VICA appeared before this committee. April 23rd, VICA appeared before council and commented on the controller's reports and made a recommendation for a collection sheriff. And August 6th today. I did the timeline because it's a year. In our review of the controller's report of June 11th, there are deficiencies, but there are really certain common threads. The controller's report of June 11th, there were no major objections or contradictions to the report on billings and collections. Second, the guidelines for collections have been issued per executive order Executive Directive Number 5, Revenue Building and Collections, that was issued October 20th, 2005. Third, the major issue in the report of not collecting what we should be doing is accountability. Accountability continually comes up in the controller's report, and that is why you aren't collecting as much as the city should be collecting, because nobody is following up to the point where you're getting accountability. Today, I would like to continue our discussion. I'm here just because it is a year later from the controller's report, and we have not seen major action taken. We are very concerned for the city. We feel a lot of dollars, especially in our financial budgetary situation, that more dollars could be collected. And what we specifically recommend is that there should be a collection sheriff appointed to enforce collections. We believe the city, with de minimis cost, should redeploy, make a priority to redeploy its human assets to form a small collection group headed by the sheriff. This group would follow up and enforce department collections and write-offs. It would currently follow Executive Director Number 5, which is a good basis, although in reviewing it, we feel once this collection department was functioning, it would make certain adjustments and would really shorten up the time for reporting so we could have a more current reporting period. This group would rely on all city departments to submit accounts receivable agings per guidelines for them to review. So what we are really saying is we are not looking for a costly procedure. We're not looking for an RFP. We're really asking for someone to be appointed, again, from our current human assets in the city, to have this group formed. We haven't gone to the point of who it should be under, but we're really very concerned. The fiscal year ended June 30th. In a letter to Controller Chick, we requested that all departments submit their accounts receivable agings by August 31st. Because in the Controller's report, she said, quote, "At no time can the city determine its accounts receivable." And I think that is a fact. We aren't disputing any facts in her report.
Thank
so
you,
really today, I'm just following up. We would appreciate if this committee would come back and address this issue and forward it to the appropriate either council committee or to council itself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and this committee shares your concerns as well. We've had some discussions with departments on this very same issue along with the controller, and we will revisit the issue sometime soon in this committee because you're correct. It's been a year or so since we last heard or it was raised in this committee as well, and we've had independent departments come in, but not a whole big picture collectively of what revenues this city is missing out on because of lost collections. So we will revisit the item soon and schedule it, and we'd be happy to, my office would be happy to work with you on that before we get there.
We would appreciate anything that BICA can do to help. And again, maybe it's colloquial, but really a collection sheriff is what's needed. You need an enforcer just to have accountability. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming down.
I believe that adjourns our meeting. Is that correct?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. 2:45.